What's up, everybody? For those who don't know, on this channel I burn stimulus checks, and in that same spirit I decided why not burn some flags. So I went online and bought me 8 flags. I'm going to do 8 videos where I burn these flags, talk a little bit about them, and yeah, so let's get to it. Alright, so the first flag that we're going to be burning will be the Antifa flag. Alright, so the interesting thing about this flag is, well, as we all know, it's it doesn't represent a group. No, it just represents an idea, a bad idea, in my opinion. But the thing is, a lot of people who support this flag and fly this flag, they have this misconception that this flag simply represents the idea that fascism is bad. And thus they say that if you dislike fascism, well, then you're part of Antifa, because you're aligning yourself with this idea. Well, I, being someone who is proudly and openly a far-right individual, I am firmly against fascism. So why don't I support it? Well, for one, this, though against fascism, they claim, they are also openly and publicly for communism. And as we all know, communism, just like fascism, is an extreme left-wing ideology. So as someone who is far-right, I can't be down with this. I ain't about this life. Now, there are many people who like to think that this here Antifa group is actually an extreme right-wing ideology, that they're anarchists. But that's not true. You see, they use anarchy as a catalyst for achieving their goal, achieving their agenda. They use what is called the Hegelian dialectic, which is problem, reaction, solution. You see, these individuals, these Antifa folk, they bring about an extreme right-wing situation at the street level. They cause anarchy and chaos in the streets. They cause lawlessness. But that's not their goal. That's not what they're trying to achieve. They're doing it so that they can then begin controlling the reaction to the problem they've already caused. This is then followed by them supplying the solution to the problem they created. You see, they want an authoritarian communist government to come lock down the country, to take over, and to disappear all those who disagree. Well, you can't have a radical and extreme reaction unless you first have a radical and extreme problem. You see, they're wanting to defund and maybe even disband the police in the short term, because the police represent the power system in play currently that they disagree with and want to overthrow. These people are not against law and order. They're against the current laws and the current order. Once they get that out of the way, then they will bring in their own laws and their own version of order. These communists, that's what they are, they're communists. These communists, these extreme left-wingers, they're just the modern version of the Confederates. communist is the new Confederate. Now, why do I say that? Well, let me get some of this dust off here. Well, let me give you a scenario, give you something to think about, okay? Just let you look at this flag while I talk. I'm going to give you a description, and you, the viewer, try to figure out if I'm describing the communists of the 21st century or if I'm describing the Confederates of the 19th century. Here we go, let's play. This group of individuals has been brainwashed by the Democratic Party. These gullible and ignorant individuals feel a sense of moral high ground. They feel that what they are doing is justified, and what they're doing is being radical, and specifically bringing about violence, vandalism, and fear. This group actually gets to enjoy being seditious and rebels against the federal government's authority. In fact, this group took it upon themselves to storm federal property, to take over and vandalize federal property. This armed group of individuals who happen to be unified by an idea, an ideology, also thinks that it's important to understand that people are either white or not white. You're either someone who is without color or you're someone of color. And furthermore, this group thinks it's best to have segregation. This group was brainwashed by political propaganda given out by the Democratic Party because the Democratic Party was terrified of losing its monopoly of power, terrified of having competition in the political arena, and specifically told the individuals of this group that the presidential candidate for the Republican Party secretly wanted to become a dictatorial tyrant, and specifically wanted to take away human rights. Because of this, this group of individuals attacked federal property, destroyed federal property, and then was given political cover, political protection by the state government, which happened to be Democratic politicians and democratically controlled. The Democratic politicians, instead of siding with the federal government and aiding the Republican president bring about a sense of law and order, chose to side against that institution of government and defend the actions of its citizens who attacked federal property. This group has even called for secession of several states controlled by Democrats from the Union of the United States of America. This group of individuals have called for violence and the death of Republican candidates as well as the Republican president. So I ask you, who then could I be talking about? Again, am I talking about the communists of the 21st century? Or am I talking about the Confederates of the 19th century? That is a tough one. While you think about that, I'm gonna go ahead and set this flag on fire.